Hi there, welcome back to the DadX Garage, and what we're going to do right now is do a bit of shopping. There's some very good offers on in the shop. It's Halloween, and at times of the year, Halloween, Christmas, etc, etc, 4th of July, they do some good deals. Now here is where you buy gold, which is kind of the in-game currency. You can see the prices there. I've actually bought that one there, the 6,500 gold pack, £20, 19.99. I buy that about once every 2 months, 3 months, so it's not really a lot over time. Well, it's a lot over time, but it's not much for the hours that you get out of the game. 30 days premium there, costs normally 2,500 gold, so that gives you a boost to your XP and your silver, 50% on each, so that's quite good to have. But we're not going to buy that now. This area of the shop right here is where you can convert XP that's locked onto premium and elite tanks, and make it into free XP, but it's good to do, and sometimes there's a discount, and it can be a good way of getting up the tree a little bit quicker. This place right here, you can use your gold to convert it into silver, but the exchange rate is pretty awful, and I'd recommend, unless there's a really special offer on, you don't really do that. It's not a good way to use your gold at all. Anyway, let's have a look at what we're actually going to buy. Here in the tank section, there's a couple of special offers which have tempted me, and I usually do all my buying during such times. We got here the Kickstarter pack. So we're going to get a tier 3 American light tank, the Locust. We're going to get 100% trained crew, and we're going to get some ammo, which you don't really need, but we get it. We get the slot in the garage. We get 7 days premium time, and all for 750 gold, which is cheaper than just buying the tank off the tech tree is. So it is quite a good saving. So we're going to buy him, and the primary use of premium tanks is the train crews. We'll look at that in more detail. Up on this screen, the modules, you can go through the bits and pieces you've got on your tank. We're going to buy that. There you go, goodbye gold. But we'll get some good work out of that tank, I can assure you. It's quite effective once you get the hang of how to play small, light, fast tanks. And it will help your crew train all the quicker. And we'll talk about that again in more detail another time. And we're also going to go for this offer here, the Boilermaker. Again, it comes with premium time. It's a tier 6 British premium tank, and we haven't got one at all, so we've got nothing to train, boost the crew training on the British, so we're going to buy that. We get the garage slot. We also get a kind of a character crew, which has a skill, the last stand. We'll have a look at that, and we bought that 2,500. That's about half price, so we're going to do that. The ammo and everything else is added into the price, so when it tells you how much you're saving by buying the package, you're saving money on maybe stuff you didn't need, but that's okay. And there's one more special, and it's very simple, a month's premium for half price, 30 days. So yeah, so we're going to grab that, because having that boost, and this is pretty much how I spend money on this game, or have. When I'm going to play it for a period, I'll get the premium time going. If there's special offers on, I might buy a tank or two, either for practical reasons or simply because I like the look of it. We'll have a look at the main account sometime, and you'll see some of the beasts that I've collected in there over the years. Right, so let's get back to our lovely little Panzer IIIE, shall we? Now, we've got all those XP we got in that nice match when we got the 1000 XP bonus achieved with that little challenge, and I'll talk more about the operations in another little episode. I'm basically going to just mix in a little bit of game mechanics and how things work in between a few games in each time I post one of these videos, and we'll see how we get along with that. Anyway, so we've got 2,963 XP, so we can unlock this package, which we need to do. I don't want to purchase it necessarily. So this one we've unlocked here is a 2cm gun. It's a rapid fire gun. If I show you the first gun that we had, it's the 3.7 centimeter. As I say, it's basically what was the gun on this tank when the Germans invaded France, and in fact when they invaded Russia, which is why they had problems when they met a T-34, because even in this game it's 2 tiers higher, the Russian tank, than this one, and you don't want to run into a tank in the game, let alone in real life. Anyway, the penetration on that gun is 40 millimeters of armor, ideally, and it'll do 36 damage per penetration, roughly. May get a little bit more, maybe get a little bit less. and the accuracy is 4.6, which isn't very good. The aiming time is 1.7 seconds, and the rate of fire is 26. Now this gun here, we just focus on the guns. It's got a huge rate of fire. That's because it fires clips of 5 rounds, I believe, and you can fire those off very quickly, almost like a auto cannon. And well, in fact, it is an auto cannon, and then you have to reload the clip, which on these small caliber guns doesn't take too long. We'll talk more about auto loaders another time when we're actually going to use one, because we're not going to use that gun on this tank. We're going to go straight up here. For this gun, the 50mm, it's a short-barreled 50mm. There's a longer version that goes on the next tier up tank with higher penetration, but this one's got 60mm of penetration, which that's 50% more than the gun we've been using, and 70 points of damage, so almost double damage. Accuracy is a little bit worse, but not much, and the aiming time's a little bit slower, but the rate of fire is still good. So we should be able to put out much more damage. It's certainly a reasonable amount of damage now that we've got this gun on the tank. What we've also upgrading there is the radio. Now that means when other teammates spot tanks, if I'm in my radio range or we're in radio range of each other, then I'll be able to see on my mini-map the tanks that they're spotting. That's what radios affect. The tracks, they're getting upgraded. They're going to affect my turning and maneuverability. The gun we just talked about, and I'm getting a slightly tougher turret, which, let's have a look. The armor there's 16mm, 15 and 15, and the view range is 320. With this one, we've got almost double the armor, still a 320 meter view range. Sometimes when you upgrade the turret, you'll get a better one, but we're not. And we are going to buy that for 32,500. Now we've got 978 XP left on there. We could unlock this package, which is basically the auto fire gun with the upgraded tracks, turrets and radio. We don't want that either. We could use 3 XP to skip straight up to these tanks. We're not doing that. We need 5,000 to unlock the DW2. We need 3,800 to unlock the Panzer IIIJ, the 2 tier 4 tanks. We'll think about the Panzer IVA another time. So that's what we're aiming for, to get one of these unlocked so we can move up. But whilst we've got this tank, we are going to unlock at least these 2, so that we've got the option later on of going down either of those tech lines. Anyway, back to the tank. So now we need to go back to our little supply page, because we've changed the gun. So the armor piercing ammo we loaded up before is now not in the tank because it's the wrong caliber. We're not going to carry much. This is really for emergency or frustration use only. 8, yeah, that's fine. 16,000 it's going to cost us, but we're only going to use it when we need to. The consumables stay on the tank because we haven't changed the tank. Simple as that. So that's done, and we'll confirm that. Well, we played 7 or 8 matches. I haven't bothered recording any because the matchmaker's been doing stuff like this. Tier 5 tanks and Tier 3 tanks, they're hard work. And then I got this. I'm the only Tier 3 tank in the match. Everyone else is Tier 5. But even when you are bottom tier, persevere, be patient, and you can prosper, at least to some degree, so don't give up. So let's get into another battle, but before we do, we're going to check the ops, and as you can see, we only need, about another 580 XP to get the million silver. That'll be good. What we're going to do for this match, we've got some of these ×2 XP boost tokens. They're one use, whether you do well or not, so it's a bit of a gamble, but we're going to pop one of those on, why not? Let's see how we get on. Here we are, this map's called Liberty Fallen. It only really appears for low tier tanks, so that might be a good sign for us, because we're due a match when we're not the bottom tier tank. Anyway, it's basically a question here for us of pick a side, a route, left, right or centre to get down the map. And I think from where we are, we're going to go to the left, but that's down the right hand side of the mini-map. And yes, it's a tier 3 match, there's tier 2s in it. Let's keep our fingers and toes crossed. I haven't played on this map for a long time. I come out here, which has got a brilliant view across this valley. If I had a tank that had a good spot range, or had a set of binoculars fitted to it, and now we hopefully when we've got that million we'll have some money to maybe put some modules on the tanks. Binoculars when you're stationary give you a 25% increase to your spot range, so you could do a good job from up there maybe. Anyway, we're going to push on down here. I've got a little friend in a Panzer III right there, cool tank, I like it. Look at the size of that circle there, that's where that shell can land, so firing this thing on the move is really, you might hit something, but the ammo's cheap, so the rate of fire is good, so don't be stingy with your love, and never be afraid to switch target. And it's just persistence really. I'm actually bouncing a couple of shots there. You see I've got my tank at maybe a 40-degree angle to the enemy tanks. That just gives a bit of an increase to your armour thickness on the front and can make a little bit of a difference. But low tier tanks, armour's not really an issue. I'm not even sure where that last shot went then. I'm sure I should have hit him. No, I'm just doomed to not hit this guy. Oh well. Oh, somebody's coming after me. This plucky little tier 2 tank has charged down behind me. He's tiny. I feel a bit sorry. But there you go. We'll take him. We've had to use our repair kit, unfortunately. But there, we're mobile again. You just don't want to stand still. Although on this side of this map, that flyover, the road bridge, whatever you want to call it, does shield you a bit from the arty. So there you go. We've got a kill. Poor little tier 2. And it's, you know, we're killing tier 2s and mostly hitting tier 2s in this game. But I'm not ashamed, because I've just had a good hour and a half of being the little guy. Now again here, I mean, he's shooting at me, I'm shooting at him. He's hitting the barrier, I'm hitting the barrier. That shot just seems to get absorbed. These low tier tanks have low tier guns. Things can only get better. Right, he's pushing forward. He has no turret, so as long as he's running that way, he can't really get a shot on me. In fact, he's been taken out anyway. Have a quick look at the guys across the valley. They've not been spotted now. There is an auto aim function, left bumper. If you click that, it will lock on if it can. It at least tells you whether there is a line of sight. You're not necessarily going to stop and start shooting, but it's handy to know who you can get a shot on, because they can maybe get a shot on you. And knowing where you need to be careful of is one of the keys to staying alive in this match. Right, this Marder's coming back out onto the street, so we're going to park up and wait for him. And we still miss him. There you go, sails over his front plate. We've got one into him there. Now our turret has been hit. We can't turn it. We twist the tank just too late. We could have got a kill shot on that guy, but not to worry. It doesn't really matter who gets the kill. It certainly doesn't to me. You get the XP is mostly for the damage that you get on the enemy tank. The kill's a bit of bonus XP. I certainly never worry about it. Right, we're going to cap. We're now 3 against 4. I can see 2 of their tanks are on the other side of the map, but only 1 is capping, so us 2 capping can cap quicker. If you look at the timers, and we've got to beat them by 5 seconds. If both sides cap out within 5 seconds of each other, it actually counts as a draw and nobody gets the win bonus. There you go, got him. Again, another tier 2 tank, but I'm still not sorry. I'll take anything I can get. And the fact we're getting double damage, you can see when we're hitting these tier 2s, we're really wrecking them. If we'd still had that little gun that we started with on this tank, we'd be still a bit more insignificant. The Panzer III to my left there, you can see on our side, he's got the rapid fire gun. And these 2 guys have actually got probably exactly the same gun, and they're bouncing off each other. Until finally my teammate gets him. Fantastic. Now I'm hoping we can just cap now. There you go. We are the winners. That was, you know, I don't cap very often, but that was necessary. When you're outnumbered like that, there's no point in going to hunt down the rest of the enemy. You just go for the cap and hope for the best. So let's see the scoreboard. And there we go. Our million silver has come in. We got 4,845 experience points with our bonuses. We've done quite nicely in that game. And I think that may even be the last game we need to have in this tank. We got the ×3 XP boost. We got bonus silver for that one. We got bonus XP for sledgehammer. These little achievements here, self-explanatory. they kind of mount up. You get a little bit of XP for getting them, I believe. I'm not sure. Fire for effect means you've caused more damage than your tank has XP. So that's one to kind of aim for. And a first class mastery badge, that means we did better than 95% of players in that tank in the last 2 weeks. And we came top for our team, but that's no big deal. So there you go. Where are we now? Let's get back to the garage and see what we've got. So let's spend that XP and perhaps see the last of this tank, unfortunately, perhaps. Certainly not a keeper. So we're going to unlock the Panzer III to take us up the medium line, but we're not going to buy it. We're going to unlock the DW2, which takes us up one of the heavy tank lines, but we're not going to buy that yet either. There you go. And then, just for completeness, why not? We've got more than enough XP. Let's unlock the Panzer IVA. Let's just check. 1800, that's more than enough. Unlock him. Unlikely to play that tank in the near future. Basically, there are more tanks we could play than we've got garage slots, and we're not spending lots of what would be real money, in effect, on that. And we've got enough XP to unlock that last package with a quick firing gun. And now that tank has elite status. If we were to keep that tank, we would get an increased crew XP bonus when using it, and we've also got the XP that we can then unlock in the store, as I showed you a little earlier. So let's take a little look in the tech tree, because I haven't really shown you this yet. This is the German tech tree. You start each nation with its tier 1 tank, and I'd already used that to unlock all of the tier 2 tanks, which didn't take too long at all. And then we've got the Panzer IIIE, which we've been using now. I did have a play previous to recordings with this Panzer II, but I did sell that just to save a garage slot. I got some extra slots in a sale. They're one of the resources you do have to manage. Every so often in the store there'll be a half price sale for garage slots, and that's when I usually buy them. We're going to have a little look here now. Little history. When the Germans invaded France and Russia, there are myths of the mighty Panzer Legion that did that. We're talking about these Panzer Is, Panzer IIs, Panzer IIIs, Panzer IVs, and also the Panzer 38T and Panzer 35T, which were Czech tanks the Germans used to bolster the numbers. So basically tier 2 and 3 tanks, and maybe a tier 4 in the form of the Panzer 4D, and some of these Panzer III later models, not the J, and they also appeared in North Africa. So bear in mind, so we've got those low tier German tanks invading Russia and then running into T-34s and KV-1s, which are tier 5 tanks, so that's why they didn't really find that too good a meeting. The German responses to those tier 5 Russian tanks were the Stug 3G with the long-barreled 75mm tank destroyer, the Panzer IV, Jagdpanzer IV, sorry, the Nashorn with the 88mm gun. So these are real tanks up here, or they appeared. The Jagdpanther up at tier 7, and then down here we got the Tiger and the Panther, and these had good reputations, but they got good reputations fighting the tier 5 Russian tanks like the T-34, tier 5 American tanks and British tanks like the Crusader and the Sherman. So they were basically that much better. In the game, a lot of people rush to these tanks thinking they're going to be absolutely fantastic, and in the context of the game they're kind of just another tank. And the Tiger one in particular, you have to learn how to drive that properly. That's all about angling the armor, because it has very flat armor. Then up here we've got tier 8 Tiger II, a real tank. We've got the Ferdinand tier 8 tank destroyer, a real tank from World War II. Battle of Kursk was its debut. And then we've got the Jag Tiger right up here at tier 9. And then at tier 10 down here we've got the Leopard 1, which is the last, or the only tier 10 real tank. Everything else, their plans, their projects, their forts, their possibilities. Something has to be done to pad the tech trees out, and I actually think Wargaming have done a very good job of doing that, to be honest with you. Anyway, we're stuck down at this end. Oh, these tanks here, the Goldie ones, they're the premium tanks. You can buy them straight off this tech tree. They were always the cheapest premium tanks, and sometimes they were on sale before they actually had the store function. They're basic, they're cheap and cheerful, they do the job. Some of them are very fun. This Panzer T15 is a very nice little tier 3 premium tank. The tier 5 one is very average. Their main role is to boost your skill training and boost your silver. The lower the tier, the premium tank, the higher its training bonus. The higher the tier, the premium tank, the higher its silver bonus, but the lower its training bonus. So anyway, we are going to come back down to tier 2. We're going to buy ourselves a Panzer I because we want to go down this light tank line. I've decided that because they're quite fun to use. And this Panzer 1C is actually quite a good fun tank, which I've kept on my main account because it is so good. Fun. So let's buy him. We get a little intro movie. This was, yeah, as Panzer I, as the name suggests. The first tank the German army put into service. It was only ever supposed to be a training tank. It's got a crew of 2, a driver and a commander, and it's got a machine gun. And that's about it. I think in this case, in the game, it's actually got a 2cm cannon, but we'll call that license. Right, recruit a crew. For tier 2 tanks and tier 3 tanks, we just go for rapid courses. They come with 50% training. It's free. I'm not spending 60,000 on training it up to 75% for the few games that it will be playing. The crews, you know, are used quite quickly, and then as soon as you assign them to a new tank, you have to do this process again, only you don't have the option of the free training. It's so there you go, 50% training. It does make the tank perform a little bit less well than it could, but I really don't ever find that makes an issue. So where is he? Little Panzer I, come on. Straight into battle with you, no equipment, no fancy ammunition. What's the worst that can happen? Aha, Provence. This is a map that only, I think, up to tier 3 tanks can ever appear on. Might even be tier 2. Bit like the Liberty Falls one, which we played in the Panzer III earlier on. So that's a good sign. It means we're in a low tier match. Okay, there you go. We're all tier 2s and a few tier 1s. Now the T-22 prototype, the tier 1 tank, is actually quite good, and people play that pretty much as their main tank. There are players, believe it or not, who hang around these low tier matches that he's got his flag, he's got his emblem, he's got his camo. Yeah, he loves that tank. He plays in that tank a lot. Also in low tier matches you may get experienced players using their lower tier premium tanks, mixed with quite casual players. Can I actually even damage him? I did. I got one into him. He's dead. And yeah, some players who just like to stay down here and, as it's known, pad their stats by taking advantage of less experienced players. But that's fair enough. It's all gravy, as they say. Right, who we got over here now? We do need to be very careful. I don't know if I can penetrate this guy. I thought I'd emptied the clip and was reloading then. Who we got here? One penetration. Let's have another go at this guy. There's their artillery. Oh, see, just hidden from me. We're doing okay up here. We don't seem to be getting spotted so far, at least. Come on, show yourself. So at least 2 guys left. I'm not going to get over there. Nice passive game. Come on. Trying to hide himself. Indeed, best job I ever had. Well, let's see how we did there. We got our ×3 XP bonus. It's ×3 for your first win of the day in a tank today, instead of ×2. So we got 693 XP for doing very little. But a low tier match. ×3 XP bonus. Of course it would have been much better if we had a storming match. I could almost say I'm so unused to playing low tier matches, I'm being a little bit cautious. Maybe a little bit over cautious, but I'll get into the swing of it. Right, with our 693 experience points, we can unlock that, but we shan't purchase that. And we can unlock that, but we shan't purchase that. Let's see what they are. Right, we've got the 2cm gun on at the moment. Better engine and better tracks, so better maneuverability. And that's a better gun, is it? Looks like it's a better gun to me. 30 penetration and 11, yes. And it fires quicker. And a better turret. Yes, we shall install that package. 1,600 to go. Now, I might normally just wait and play tomorrow for its double XP game again and pretty much get the next tank unlocked on that. So we're going to leave it there for now. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. I'm trying to figure, making these videos is very different to the farm videos, I can tell you that. If you'd like to see anything, if there's a nation's tanks you'd like to see, if you'd like to see me play one of these tanks, one of the premium tanks, if you'd like to know more about crew training or the packages or the ops or the PvE mode, the war stories that they have in the game as well, then just say in a comment and I'll show you that in the next video. So for now, thank you very much for watching. Leave us that comment, leave us a like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to stay in touch, and hit that notification button so you know when we're dropping more stuff. And for now, take care.